Malole soi fua mo, malalangi e mama. I hope that we are all well met under clear skies. It's great to be back. And I'm looking forward to our special guest today. Ben, who is it?
Kia ora, Manulele. Happy Cook Island Language Week as you're joining on the air with B&B. Our special guest today is Chermei Haufano, who is from Central Auckland Specialist School, and we're so happy to have her here on the morning broadcast today. She's going to be talking about her experiences as a speech language therapist. She's currently in her new role. Oh, well, not new role. She's actually been there for over a year now. She's working at Central Auckland Specialist School here in Auckland, and she's going to be sharing some strategies on how to engage with Pacific communities as from her experience as being an SLT. So we welcome Chermei. Bryan.
Let's go.
So, Chermei, introduce yourself, please. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and where you're from, what village you're from, and what you're currently doing at the moment.
All right, talofa lava, everyone. My name is Chermei Haufano. Yep, my family, my dad is from the villages of Waiala and Besenga in Samoa. My mum is Dutch, and I was born and raised in Henderson, Auckland.
West
and I've
side.
been in Auckland, yeah, West Side. Been in Auckland ever since, pretty much. So yeah, for a little while was able to live in Manulele, married my husband, and work out those ways at the Ministry of Ed, which was awesome. And now I'm working in Central Auckland in a specialist school as a speech therapist.
Oh. So mum's from the Netherlands?
Yeah, my mum is Dutch, yeah. So my grandparents migrated here, and then my mum was born here in Taranaki.
Awesome.
So cool.
That's so good.
Don't ask me to say anything in Dutch, I've got nothing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hey, have you ever been back? Have you ever visited Netherlands?
Oh, I wish. I'd love to. I would love to, but not yet. One day.
It's on the bucket list.
Cool. For sure.
But you went to Japan, though. Okay, right.
That's true. We can talk about that another time, guys.
Yes. Well, off air.
Different episode. No.
Yeah. True. Can you tell us about your journey to becoming a speech language therapist? So, how did you find out about it? How did you view that as a career path?
Yes, yeah. When I was in high school, and you start thinking about what career you want to have. I was really thinking about, I wanted to be in a profession that helps other people. And so started asking around, I think we had a career advisor. I always liked the idea of being a teacher or, other professions. There's lots. And I just remember being given a piece of paper that had a list of professions that kind of matched what I had said I was interested in. And one of them said speech language therapist. I thought, that rings a bell. What's that? Learned a bit more about that and thought, hey, that sounds like a bit of me. As I went on through, my undergrad and uni doing psychology, you learn about lots of different professions. I thought, wow, all of these are interesting. And I can see myself a little bit in each of these. But the more I learned about a speech language therapist's role in supporting communication, especially, I just felt, no, that's the right one for me. I remembered later, actually, that some of my own family members had speech language therapy support as children, which I'd totally forgotten about. And yeah, just the more I learned about it and studied it, the more I knew this is the right path for me.
Wow. So you worked as a speech language therapist at the ministry based in Botany.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you?
It was awesome. I really loved it. So that was my first job, obviously out of study. I loved being able to work with families, early childhood centers, schools, and in that Manulele Papatoi community. I'm a bit biased, but I'd always say, oh, this is the best team, this is the best area. Really enjoyed that work. Getting to work with people such as yourselves, in fact, in lots of our schools.
Lucky you.
Yeah. I mean, I love the role of being a speech therapist in general. You know, I love working with children and with their families and parents and teachers, but I think working in the community especially, I think that's what I loved so much, and was just privileged, I think, to work with great professionals, had a great team, great RTLBs, great schools. Yeah, great experience overall.
That's
Sometimes schools don't really understand that there's not enough speech language therapists out there. Is that true?
I
Is
think,
there enough speech language therapists?
yeah, no, there's just a demand everywhere, isn't it? And you know, where I am now, same to where I was at the ministry, any speech language therapist I think you'll talk to, that the caseloads are just getting bigger and bigger, and there's just not many of us. Yeah, it's hard because of course you want to do the best you can for every single student and family and person that you work with, but it can feel that you're spread thin sometimes, sure.
Thinking about that, so at my liaison school, the speech language therapist who was there, she's already left. So in the space of a year. So, and possibly part of that was burnout. So thinking about your time at the MOE, what are some suggestions that you would have for them to improve how they run speech language therapists?
And how would they retain their staff? What's a good way of actually retaining their staff? Because it seems to be an issue here with retaining staff, speech language therapists at the ministry.
Right, yeah, that's a tricky one, I'm sure. I think I always felt really supported. You know, I always felt I'm in a great team. I'm surrounded by great people, great understanding schools. But yeah, the workload is big for lots of us. And so in terms of improvements.
So do they need more speech
Well,
language
that's all
therapists
I can,
and then smaller
yeah.
workloads?
I guess sometimes we do try to think of all these other things we could try to make the workload easier, you know, doing systems type work and upskilling and this and that. And don't get me wrong, those are all great. But I think when it comes down to it, until we have enough speech therapists and more speech language therapists, the demand is always going to be up here, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, I think a focus around the high schools and the universities and promoting this profession and getting it out in the communities, that actually we need lots of people, a diverse range of people, and get people started thinking about it. Like when they were my age, I heard about it as a teenager, and that's when it started for me. So I love that idea of just start earlier, try and recruit earlier so that we're not still facing this in 10, 15 years, wondering, oh, how can we, you know, help retain speech therapists? They're so stressed. Yeah, right.
Someone did their job properly then if you heard about it when you were a teenager. Do you think there's enough Pacific Island SLTs? Is there a need for more?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a need for more. I mean, I can tell you all of the Pacific speech language therapists in New Zealand because I know all of them. We're in a little group. There's less than 10 of us.
Can you count them on your hands?
We are a strong group, I should say, the Leo Moana SLTs. But when you look at the population, you know, of Auckland, the whole country even, you know, we need speech language therapists that reflect the community too. So we need more Pacific speeches. And what's great is, you know, there are a few coming through in university, like I know of a few that are coming because we've connected with them. The group, Leo Moana, has had opportunities to lecture at the universities, which has been great. So we're making these connections with those students. But again, there's less than, on one hand, less than that many students. So we need more.
So why do you think that the role of speech language therapist would be good for our Pacific youth? Or, you know, how would you promote it to them? So you talked about learning about it as at high school level. Is it, so let's say you're advertising your job to, what would you say?
For me, I would say a speech language therapist job is all about people and connecting with people. And of course, I'm biased, but I think Pacific people have these natural skills that this profession needs. And so I would look at young people like myself, you know, in high school and say, you already have some of the skills that you need to be a speech language therapist. All of the technical specialist things that can be learned, that can be studied, but some of the natural skills that will make you great at connecting with families and other professionals, which honestly is a huge part of our work, you've already got it. So come on, and you can do this profession, and it's so rewarding. I love my job.
Yeah.
I mean, speech therapists, our work is very varied. So I can only speak from the work of a education speech therapist, but it's rewarding. It's wonderful working with students and families and knowing that you're making an impact on their life and helping them towards a better future. It's worth doing. It's worth the work.
Sold. Okay, Ben.
Come and join us, RTLBs.
No, Ben. Are you looking for a job, Ben?
Oh, well,
that was a nice pitch,
Chermei,
well done.
That's another story. I won't mention that story. That's another story. Hey, you're working at CAS at the moment, Central Auckland Specialist School. What's that experience like at the moment for you?
Yeah, again, I really enjoy it. I love the work. As I mentioned earlier, I think similar to, I'm sure, what speech language therapists everywhere are experiencing, and specialist schools everywhere, is that there's a lot of support needed. There are lots of students and families. Our schools are growing and growing, ours included. And so it's taking a lot of teamwork, I suppose, to make sure that we support each other and don't get burnt out, but working efficiently to support these students. But again, super rewarding. I really enjoy it. And I'm learning a lot, working with this population of students.
And you've got a new building coming up. There's a new building being built for you guys, isn't there?
We do indeed. Every time I drive past it, I think, come on now. Don't stop here. Yeah, no, that's exciting. Something lots of the staff and students have been looking forward to for a long time.
And does that mean an increase in enrollment numbers for you guys?
Yeah,
Would you be able to?
It's ever increasing, really, but I'm sure that having that facility as well is just going to keep that growth going again. Or I think a lot of the specialist schools are going through that as well, but we're just fortunate that we're a little bit closer on that journey to having that new space for us, and lots of satellite classes in the works too. So
that's awesome.
Please invite us when you've got your new flash space. We'll come and have a look.
Yes.
What was your names again? No, of course. Yeah, that'll be great, because it's something worth celebrating and sharing.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do.
Awesome.
And so thinking about, can you tell us about your unit that you're working in?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, Manulele ole lumana'i.
Yes.
So we started last year and was one of the main pulls for me, to make that move from one job I love to a new job I love, is the Samoan Bilingual classroom. And as far as we know, the first of its kind, having a Samoan bilingual class in a specialist school environment. So that in itself has been a huge learning journey as well. How do we support these students with their communication in a bilingual environment? But it's been wonderful. We were lucky to find, I wasn't part of that journey. The school was lucky to find an awesome teacher, and it's been growing. So we have a second class this year.
Great.
And we're hoping sometime in the future, how can we grow this journey and keep this going? Wonderful students, wonderful families, and a really stretching and growing experience as well.
So you're saying it's the first Samoan bilingual unit, but is it the first bilingual unit of any bilingual unit?
Yeah, in a specialist school environment, yes, as far as we know it is.
That's amazing.
So it is. It's exciting to sort of be chartering. Is that the right word? This, like we're setting off and we're working on this journey, but it also means sometimes we're thinking, oh, is this the right thing? Is this the right way to go? And we're lucky that it's based within a school that has strong bilingual and immersion classes within the school. So there's that great connection and support there. And again, in the MOE, I was very fortunate to work in schools and aonga amata as well with those environments. So we're all sort of pulling the knowledge and experience that we can and learning and growing together. And of course, relying a lot on the families too, to help us know what is it that you want for your child? How can we help make this classroom what it should be?
So what are some of the celebrations and barriers of this class, this bilingual unit you've set up? So obviously the celebration is expansion.
Yeah.
And the kids are into it and the parents are into it. Is that right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. And my understanding is that the parents in the community, they were the ones advocating for it, here
Right.
in Central Auckland, there's a great Samoan population, which is wonderful and a wonderful community.
I know the government. I'm sorry, Chermei. I was just going to step in and say, I know the government is pushing structured literacy. Would you be in? Would CAS actually be involved in actually bringing in bringing in structured literacy into the school, into CAS?
Oh, I see. Yeah, literacy has been a huge focus for the school. Yeah, and so there are different programs going on at the school right now, I believe, that they're trying to see, so what is the right approach for our students and our learners, and how can we make these programs work for our students, which has been wonderful. And I guess to tie into the last question, that's another part of the learning journey for us too. Like, not only what does this look like in a specialist school environment, but what does it look like in a specialist school environment for bilingual Samoan and English learners, you know? So it's definitely something that's being worked on in the school and prioritized, which is great. It's again, more learning makes it exciting.
Absolutely, more learning.
And
that is.
So what are your next steps for your bilingual unit? What do you hope for the future?
Yeah, awesome.
Another class?
Yeah, well, we hope so. And it's interesting you bring it up, because soon we have another community whanau, like the families are coming in. And I think that's been a great part of this journey too. It's just making sure we keep checking in. Hey, this is what has happened so far. What's next? Or what's going well? What would you like to see different? And that's part of what this next whanau is for, is, hey, where are we moving towards? What would you like to see next? So we haven't held it quite yet. It's next week or the next couple of weeks. But I'm pretty confident that the families like us are saying, yeah, how are we going to grow this? How are we going to get intermediate and high school age classes? I guess similar to your question again before, Bryan, about, you know, challenges. I think like other Samoan environments or classrooms are finding is, you know, the staffing, finding teachers. I've seen articles a lot lately about aonga amata and other bilingual classrooms, trying to find teachers, and you know, also trying to find those teachers and in a specialist school environment, you know,
that struggle's real. So staying on that subject.
How are you two feeling about being
gonna chuck an ad out there?
Okay. Advertise on the air with B&B.
Yeah, please.
Hey, just staying on that subject of teacher, what do you think is important for any teacher considering working at a specialist school if they decide to choose that pathway, choose that as a career for them? And we're talking about teachers, and because I know the struggle is real, finding teachers out there is actually quite difficult at the moment. Retaining them is another story. But
the first thing that's coming to mind is just being willing to learn, and being willing to be okay with, this situation is brand new to me. I'm not sure what to do. I know I went through that, even though I'd had, you know, a few years of experience as a speech language therapist. Still moving into this environment for me, I thought, man, haven't I been a speech language therapist the last few years? Like it just felt like all of a sudden, I'm not so sure about this, or what do I do in this situation? And going through this kind of period of growth and learning, and to know that's okay. It's okay to not know at the moment, or not be sure, and to know that there's a team of people around me. I think that's a real benefit to working in a specialist school environment for teachers. You know, you've got a team of therapists and other teachers around you, and you've got a class of LAs. Like, let's just all work together to support each other. And even after working here a longer time, there'll probably, I'm sure, still be times when you're not sure. But that's okay. The more we do it, the more we learn. It seems to be a theme of this conversation, isn't it? Learning. We're all learning.
That's right.
Great. Thinking about all of your knowledge about speech language therapy, I always come back to this question of what can parents do to help their children with their speech, or help to prepare their children for school? So thinking about those huge case numbers, how can we as parents help support you by, you know, what can we do at home before they come to school?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is around play, but maybe that's not what I mean to say. I mean, play is really important, but I think I would just emphasize to parents that you know, interactions are what our children need lots of to support. that's how we learn communication, isn't it? They're not going to learn it from me saying, you know, say so and so. You know, communication is learned through interactions. So I would just say, for all of our families, for all of us, you know, as much as you can, interact with our little ones. And play.
Are you saying put the iPad down and have a conversation? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't want to be that high and mighty person saying,
yes.
I won't be that person.
I agree. Okay. Yep.
However, I mean, communication is learned through interacting with another person. And so I think as much as you can, yes, in your daily routines, of course, communication's happening, but play often is what children are most interested in. And if they're interested, they're more likely to learn. So let's find fun things to do, you know, whether it's going swimming, playing hide and seek. Those are great opportunities for face-to-face interaction and for growing communication.
I've read that with the iPad is because is that you're not getting an interaction because you're being very receptive. It's talking to you and showing you stuff, but you're not having that communication. And one of the important parts of oral language is I speak, then you speak, then I speak, then you speak. And then you don't get that from a device.
Sure. Yeah. And there's lots of research, again, not mine, but people can go out and find it, you know, that talks about even some of the content on these videos that children are seeing. You know, it's impacting the way that their brain is developing and the way that they're understanding communication. And you're right. You and me back and forth, that happens with another person. So I would just encourage more of that. Find ways to interact with each other. Make popcorn. Hey, that's pretty exciting. Just find little simple.
Sorry, Chermei, I was just thinking that some schools now are looking at play-based learning as a way of interaction.
Sure.
So underrated. And some schools actually don't agree with play-based learning, but I've seen play-based learning in action. The interaction you get from children interacting with themselves is a lot more. You get a lot more oral language there, and they learn from themselves. It's
sorry. And from the environment that I'm in now, you know, with some of our students, you know, before they can learn, you know, sort of these lifelong skills, you know, for example, such as talking, like we need to learn that being around other people and being with people is a good thing, and that we can connect and we can have fun, and, you know, that engagement, all of those kind of foundational skills can be learned through play. So I'm a huge advocate for that. Have fun. That's more likely to communicate if we're enjoying it, you know.
Chermei, what are some of the strategies teachers should know when engaging with our Pacific communities? Let's bring it back to Pacific communities now. So what would be some good strategies for teachers when they're engaging with, especially now that, you know, our Pacific roll numbers are growing, and it's across the country. It's growing across the country.
It might sound like a cliche by now, but I always think about how important relationships are, you know, and I just think no matter what, no one's going to want to interact with you or learn from you, if that relationship isn't there first. It's interesting. I hope this is somewhat connected, but I'm just reflecting on a conversation I had in a classroom yesterday where for whatever reason, and no one's fault, it's just happened that you know, a student and adult's relationship, like you can see that trust is gone. And so now for that student, there's no willingness to learn from you, to engage with you. And so now we're turning our focus to, like, for the time being, forget about that activity. We know it's important. Forget about that. What we need to focus on is repairing that relationship.
Restorative.
So that's the one that always comes to mind. And same with working with families, as you two will know. We're more inclined to actually be able to work together if we have a relationship there.
It's all about the VAR, the relational space between us. And if it's broken, then you have to repair that space before you move forward. Great. So if you're thinking about if resource teachers of learning and behavior are watching this, what would you like them to know from a speech language therapist perspective? So how could we help support you in your job?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
When I think,
Bryan comes up with the best questions
today.
Thank you. Wow, you've never seen that side of us. All professional.
It's all brand new to me. If I reflect on, working with RTLBs like yourselves, what has been most helpful, again, is that we're in communication with each other. We know each other. I feel safe to say to you, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, I'm not sure this is working. Again, that's just what my personal preference is, like as a speech therapist, but also as a person. I think it's easiest if we're in connection with each other. We're not working separately. Hey, they talk about this a lot. Hey, I remember one plan meetings, all of that talk. But
Oh, I don't know what's happened to that plan.
but it's
We're still
true.
doing
I
one
mean,
plan.
oh, okay. Sorry to bring up things from the past there. I think it's true though. Like, what makes my job easier is knowing that, I can turn to you for questions, or, you have experience, knowledge, I have experience and knowledge. You've seen something in class, I've seen something in class. Let's talk about it. Let's work together, I think is the most efficient way for that student. So again, probably things people already know, but for myself as a speechy, it's all about communication. Let's communicate.
Of course.
It's so true, because most at the moment, sorry, I have to mention this because
That's okay, Ben.
I've just been in a recent case that, the way that different agencies operate, they operate in their own, within their own boundaries, and they take a multidisciplinary approach, which is actually quite difficult when you're trying to focus on the child. And I think agencies need to work more towards a transdisciplinary model, which everyone is familiar with what everyone is doing. It makes it difficult when one agency has a set of boundaries and the other agency has a set of boundaries, but somehow you try and make it work just for this one child. I think the learning support delivery model is great, but it just needs a lot more work at the moment. And at the moment, it's, well, we're having, particularly our cluster, we're finding it hard to reach out to botany at the moment. And it's very hard coming across SLTs at this point and psychologists, and we can't blame them. We can't play the blame game. But what we can say is we need a lot more collaboration. And that's putting it.
But that's not your fault, Chermei. So let's get
But that's yeah, I can understand.
And who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you better edit that one out.
No, I'm not going to.
Sorry, Chermei. I threw you under the bus. Let's get on to the next question, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. So, do you have any resources or readings or books, specific or other, that you would recommend to our teachers? Any learning support, particularly learning support teachers?
Not saying this because you guys gave it to me, but my mind has gone blank. But I love that book that you all shared with me, and I've read it and I've shared it even at meetings here at school. Can you do you know the one I'm talking about?
The Pacific
Educators
Speak. That one.
Yeah.
About values.
Yeah. And I found I'm not a teacher, but I get to work with teachers, and I just loved seeing teachers talk about their examples and their experiences. So yeah, that's what I would recommend, because even now I still use it and refer to it in our discussions, when we meet to do planning for our bilingual class, Manulele or lumana'i, and we're talking about different things. I look to things from that book as well. I say, hey, I once read, this teacher shared about this, and what do we think about that? So Pacific Educators Speak. Hey.
Yeah. Do you use the Vasifika book?
Oh, I love that one.
Like for your parents, because in our cases we try and give that to Pacific parents with students with ASC, so that they can read other people's experiences. Because a lot of there's some stories in there of grandparents who have looked at these kids as naughty, and then they've come around, and so I find that's very valuable to give to parents to see ASC from a different perspective.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, actually, because not that I have yet, but I think it's worthwhile doing. And even as you say that, I'm reflecting on families that I work with. Yeah, they are grandparents or parents that are supporting these children.
Yes.
And with lots of new entrants enrolling, I think, that's right. That was another great.
Ben will send you one.
Yeah, we've got heaps.
Yeah, we've got some. We can send you some.
We got heaps.
And so, just thinking about just. Always love to ask this question of what's a whakatauki or a langa upu or a quote that motivates you?
I'm going to have to look this one up. I think I've got it here somewhere. One moment, please, caller.
Take your time.
As I'm looking it up, it's one that speaks, it's a Samoan proverb. I think I saw it during one of the
You can look it up,
Samoan
look it up,
language.
look it up.
Yeah, yeah. And it's about the people. Oh, here it is. Okay. Good opportunity for me to practice my pronunciation. Anyway, it says, E fa'i o le fale, a o le ano fale. And it's translated to mean, it is not the house, but the people or the household.
Oh,
And
Nice.
I might be putting my own interpretation on it. I think it's talking about how the people and their well-being is what matters. But I think for myself and my work, what I try to remind myself is, yeah, the work is important, and you know, there's different processes that need to be done and things that need to be done. You know, we all have assessments and reports and this and that. But actually that's not what it is. It's the people. The people is the most important part. And I try to remind myself of that too. And I'm sure RTLBs go through it as well, that it can feel like there's this never-ending list of things to do.
yeah.
But actually that's not our work. You know, our work is about people. And so I hope that we can encourage ourselves when we're feeling like, oh, it's you know, it's week 3 and term 3. That's where I'm at right now, you know, and
Yeah, totally.
and I still have this and this and this, but actually it's okay because I get to meet with 3 families today, or, you know, I got to see, you know, this many students this week, and you know, we'll keep working at it. Those things are important, but the most important part, the people.
You've got to be
So that's
grateful
why I
for
like that quote.
Yeah,
Lovely.
yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. Chermei, what's some advice that you would give to your younger self?
To younger Chermei,
Mm.
I think I would tell her, you know, just keep at it. You're on the right path. I feel actually very blessed to feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, doing what I need to do. And I may not be perfect at it, but I'm learning and growing each day. Like I think I'd tell her, yeah, just keep trying, keep working towards it. Because I am. I'm
Awesome.
still trying. I'm still working towards it. But
You're doing a great job,
You're
Chermei.
doing an amazing job. An
all
amazing
of
job.
you, everyone. Like, I feel like that's not just to younger Chermei, but to everyone. You know, I work with great therapists and great teachers, and I think I wish we could just all look back and tell that younger person, like, keep going, keep working towards it. It's worth it, guys.
Yeah,
And
nice.
thinking about that journey, so who's someone who inspires you?
It's a great question. I think a lot about my parents. You know, my dad was a very hard worker, providing for all of his 7 children. The 6th was the favorite. That's myself. No.
Yeah,
Obviously.
And you know, and I think of my mum, who, you know, full-time mum. She was there every morning before school, every day after school, at every meeting, all of this, and I just think of the work that they did because they care about their family. And the reason that inspires me is because, you know, I get to work with families now, and I know how much they care about their children. And I just get to be the small part of their journey to help them do that. Like, here's some ideas, here's something you could try, could I help you with that? And to me, that feels like a privilege, you know, to be able to be a small part of a family's journey, because, you know, the family, that's everything. So I'm grateful for what my parents have done for me and continue to do for me. And now I'm grateful I get to help other parents do that for their children.
Lovely.
Awesome.
I'm sure they're very proud of you, Chermei.
Yeah.
So now we get a chance to spin the wheel of questions. So what I did,
This is fun.
so we have no idea what the questions are going to say, but I grabbed, so today
Wow.
I grabbed the questions from this. This is Lalanga, and it's like a card game, and it's got different levels from level 1 up to level 5. And so we're just going to spin this wheel. Let me find it.
Are these level 1 questions?
These are level 1 questions, Ben. Don't panic.
Oh, thank goodness.
I don't know if they're all going to be
My
relevant
brain
or
is like,
whatever.
wow.
So if you don't like the question, Chermei, we'll just spin again. All right. Can you see the wheel?
Yep, I can see it. Wow, this show is great.
Oh,
Great.
thank you. Come back anytime.
Come back anytime.
Oh, look at that. So what's one superpower you wouldn't want and why? And we'll all answer it, Chermei, not just you.
Yeah, we'll answer it, but I'm not going first because I make terrible answers.
When Ben goes first, everything goes downhill. Okay. Okay, I'll start. One superpower, I would not like to read minds, because I don't want to know what's inside anybody else's head, because a lot of times we think things and they shouldn't be said out loud. That's one of the problems with the internet. Keep it inside your head. Chermei, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be a copycat. That's the one I thought of too, because I know for myself, I can really struggle with wanting to be a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And I'll really struggle trying to keep up with what I think they want from me. And if I know what they want from me, oh, God, no. I think I don't want to read minds.
Okay, Chermei, this is usually where it goes downhill from here. But
Yes.
I would say super strength, because I'm really clumsy. No, and I'm serious when I say clumsy, because every time I open something or try to fix something, I break something all the time. So when I'm trying to fix a water pipe, yeah, I broke that just a couple of weeks ago. Shower head, yeah, broke that too. What else have I broken recently? Just, yeah, I wouldn't, having super strength, I'd probably be spending more time building and repairing. And yeah, that's me.
Great self-reflection, Ben.
Oh,
Well
yeah.
Thanks,
Told you.
clumsy Ben. All right, let's go.
Yes.
We could do this all day, but let's go. No, we'll do another one.
I
Well, are
can't
you
see it
spinning
again,
another one?
Bryan.
Oh, can you see it?
Nah.
Okay, let me share it. Okay, do I have to do that again? Sorry.
What is your biggest
did
green
spin it.
flag?
What's your
What is
biggest
your-
green flag? So a red flag is something people should be aware of, and a green flag is something good about yourself that maybe people should be aware of. Chermei, do you want to go first?
Yeah, it's quite a what's the word? Self-esteem boosting game.
Yes.
Oh, positive. You know what? I would hope this is true as a speech therapist, but I've always felt that I have quite good communication skills.
Yes.
And like part of that, I think one of my strengths is I feel that I can kind of understand like what one person is trying to say. I can kind of understand what that person is trying to say and see where the barrier is, or what the miscommunication is. But I don't know. I've just always felt, hey, that's a green flag. Is it empathy? Maybe it is. Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. I see it differently. Let's try and find some middle ground.
Oh, so good.
It helps in my work a lot, so I think that's a green flag.
Green flag. Okay. I guess I'm going next. You know how they talk about the 5 love languages? So probably one of mine is quality time. So I do love spending quality time. So a green flag about me is, I am quite introverted, so I do actually like spending time by myself. But when I'm with people, I do like spending time with people, especially lovely people like you two. Go, Ben.
Oh, that's so nice. Green flag. I don't know. For me, it's about connection. I need to connect with people who think alike, who have like minds. I think you grow together when you connect with the right types of people. And I'm not saying that everyone has a like mind, but if you gravitate towards people who have the same, not ambitions, but the same goals, the same positivity, the same love, I think you can move forward together. That's my green flag. And what was one person said, and it was good. It was a good friend of mine. They said that sometimes if you gravitate towards the wrong type of people, you're always going to churn out the same wrong type of things. It's going to go, yeah, that's not really the version. The real version is, and part of my French, that if you're going to think about shit, you're going to attract shit. Does that make sense?
Can you bleep that out and edit?
Yeah.
Ben, and then also if 2 people of this are like minds, one of them is unnecessary. All right. That's why we don't agree on everything. All right, let's try one. We'll do one more. Sorry, Chermei. I know you're busy. You're a busy person. We'll do last one.
This is great.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure
I
about
don't
this
use
one.
Uber.
You think you can do this one, or should we skip it?
I actually don't use Uber. I don't use Uber.
Okay.
I just don't believe in lying. Nah, I
Okay.
don't use
Yeah,
it.
no, we're gonna do it again then. So one doesn't believe in Uber and one doesn't believe in lying. So we'll skip that question.
Yeah.
Okay, what makes you nervous no matter how many times you do it?
Oh gosh.
That's good.
Public speaking for me. I'm still I can do it, but I'm still it still takes me some time to prepare and to get into the right frame of mind when I do public speaking.
And I will build on that and say public speaking in another language.
Oh.
Because we had a Cinco Day a few weeks ago, and then silly me, I asked about how to do the mihi in Māori the day before, and it was like 2 sentences, and I was like, practice at home. And then I was like, oh yeah, I've got my paper, but then I got busy, and then when I stood up in front of like 50 people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gone out of my head.
Do you know what? That's funny because I did a mihi whakatau to introduce someone, and I studied it and I learnt it off by heart. It was about that long.
Yeah.
But I managed to get it right. I had my phone out ready to read stuff, but I managed to get through it. So yeah, we're both opposites.
That's why I like you. You're my opposite. Chermei.
Yeah.
Something that still makes you nervous.
Yeah.
Say, speaking with Bryan and Ben. No, I was going to say, I keep,
Why? We've done it so many times.
Yeah.
it's just that flashing recording button. No, I think it's actually, again, to piggyback off what Bryan said, like what popped into my mind is like speaking Samoan actually,
Yes.
which is interesting, you know, even though obviously lots of my aunties, uncles, cousins, you know, friends, church family, all of this, you know, lots of that is in Samoan. And yet still when it's my turn to say something, oh, those nerves, no matter what.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully something I can work on.
Okay.
That is hard.
Chermei, thank you. And so one other thing that we do is that we ask the last person that we interviewed to give us a question to ask the next person. So you're the next person. So the last person asked a very simple question. What are you most proud of?
And that was from Malia.
Ooh, that's a nice question.
It's a nice, easy one.
Yeah. What am I most proud of? Well, you know what? This podcast discussion has boosted my confidence so much. You know, I'm going to say I'm most proud of that. I think I'm getting better and better at what I do as a speech therapist. You know, I still have a lot to learn, but I know more this week, and I'm doing better this week than I did last week, which is better than what I was doing last year and the year before. So yeah, I think I'm proud of that. I'm still working towards being the best speech therapist I can be, and I'm getting better.
Nice.
We already answered this question last time, but Chermei, just jumping in there. I'm very proud of you because of like we talked about language and the nerves that brings when you're not fluent in Samoan, just like us. And then that you've been able to be brave and help start a bilingual unit in Samoan. And I'm very proud of you for doing that. So great job.
That's a huge step.
Yeah,
no, it's a huge,
very
it's
brave.
huge, huge journey and a huge step for you. So yeah, big ups, sis. Big ups.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I meant to ask this one question that you would like us to ask the next person in the next interview, and that interview is going to be next week. So we've got another guest speaker up next week, and what would you like us to ask?
And you don't know anything about them. You just ask any question.
Could be any
I was
question.
going to say, am I allowed to know? You know, okay. So
No.
I think it would be great. I'm assuming this guest speaker is someone that knows the two of you.
Not necessarily.
No, I don't know the person.
We just interview. We're trying to interview a variety of Pacific people in a variety of jobs.
Oh, right.
And their views on education and how we can improve. That's basic.
Okay, then I might ask them, what was like a highlight or a rewarding experience that they'd had that week.
Great.
What was the highlight of their week?
And the twist is that we have to answer it.
Oh, yes.
Plot twist. Okay, Chermei, now you have to answer it first. What's
Oh,
something
not
amazing
just
that
as in we, all of us. Oh, okay.
all three of us are going to answer that question?
Well, because I have not great memory, I'll have to go with something from today. And other than this great conversation, which is definitely a highlight, just prior to this, the reason I was a little bit late is because I was meeting with a family. And yeah, I would say that was a highlight because they had so much to share about the student that I didn't know. And it just reinforced, you know, so important to talk to these families. They know much more about their kids than we do. So it was great. I felt like I learned a lot from just a 30-minute discussion from them. So great experience.
Awesome. I'll jump in. So my highlight, this is Cook Islands Māori Language Week. And then I was happy to share the Cook Islands Māori Language Week presentation. Did you get it, Chermei?
I must have been X'd off your list.
Oh, I will add you to the list.
Mad,
Sorry,
Bryan.
Chermei. I'd like to blame Ben, but I can't.
Okay, Ben, last fails, blame Ben. Probably today, actually, because I've been in bed all week. So I haven't been to work since Monday, and actually having this interview has actually perked me up a bit. So it actually perked me up a lot.
Nice.
Because I'm finding my groove again. I'm just getting back into my groove. So yeah, ready for Monday. Woohoo, go me.
Good on you, Ben. Okay, Chermei, let's start moving towards closing. So do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share? And then we'll say thank you and let you go and have your other 2 parent meetings.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to say thank you to the both of you. You know, it's been really wonderful, not just to catch up with previous colleagues, but to reflect on some of the questions that you've asked today. It's yeah, it's actually been a really enjoyable experience. And I guess another final thought after what we've talked about today is just sort of that reinforcer for those that are working in this education space, or those who may potentially see this, the millions that will see this, that that our work is, you know, it's really worthwhile, and it can be hard, you know, when we reflect on, like we've talked about today, demanding caseloads and trying to accomplish many things in such a short amount of time. But the work that we're doing is worth it, and it's impacting people, and that people like you, listener, but actually you two as well, Bryan and Ben, you know, the work that you do influences not just students, but like people like me, you know, your other colleagues. We're all helping each other. So yeah, I guess that's just a general thank you, but also an encouragement. I think the work we're doing is great, everyone. Yeah. And thank you for helping to inspire me and each other.
Thank you, Chermei.
So sign up to be a speech language therapist now.
That's the main.
We want you.
Yeah.
Chermei, I'll just repeat that I'm very proud of you with the job that you're doing now. I've just taken some incredible years autism courses, and we had some people from some specialist schools, and we were given the opportunity to go into specialist schools and observe, and I can see how it could be very, very rewarding, and the relationship that you build with those students would be just like a family relationship. And I love how you talked about Pacific people, and we have all the skills of building relationships. One of the things Pacific people can do is, you know, network. And then that's what we've done with you ever since we met you at the Ministry of Education. And then now you're in your new role, and we still network with you. And everything we ask you to do, you always say yes. So we always appreciate that from you. And yeah, so we look forward to our next project that we can do together. And please invite us to your new space, or just invite me, or we don't know where Ben will be.
I'll be somewhere. I will be somewhere. But Chermei, yeah, no, thank you for joining us today. Please like and subscribe to our channel.
Always advertising, this guy.
Yeah, I'll say no, but thank you for joining us. And we're not going to send you away empty-handed. We do have a mea lofa for you, a koha that we're going to send you away, and that'll be very soon.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure.
Chermei, thank you for your time. Thank you for today. Thank you for the wonderful stories that you've shared with us.